Going on, Joey Spencer in the building.
Hey guys,
How's it going, champ?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Good, man. You staying active? I know you just had a
Yeah,
fight.
yes,
How's
sir.
how's that
Yeah,
going?
staying active. It's good. It's good. Yep, I got a fight, comeback fight, couple, probably 2 months now ago, and it went well. Got back in the win column, and yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, man. So you've been at your career around 54 for a while now. Are you thinking
Yes,
of
sir.
moving up, or is that where
Nope, I'm
you're
moving
good
down.
there?
I'm moving down. I'm moving to
Oh, moving
47.
down.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm moving down. Yep, I took the last fight at 52 because I have been at my whole career has been at 54 since I turned, and I've always kind of been in between. But then once I got to the point where, doing this 22 times, 22 weight cuts, got to the point where it was going, just figuring everything out and figuring out the weight cut and how my body works and the best, methods that work for me. It got to the point where it was really almost too easy to make 54 the last few fights. So we decided to move in that direction. And my next fight should be at 47. So I'm feeling good at the weight, and I've lost about 10 pounds of real weight. As far as my walking around weight is now 10 pounds lighter than it was before. So I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Wow, man. That's good, man. You usually don't hear about guys moving down. So I mean, but yeah, you said you're making the
Yeah,
weight
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
the case, why not? So you said your next fight's
yeah.
gonna be at
Yep.
47. When are you guys looking to get
Yep.
back into the ring?
We're looking at December, January to be back in the ring. That's what we're looking at right now. Kind of putting together the pieces for my next fight, and so yeah, we're moving in that direction and getting back in the gym and working, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready for what ends up coming.
Nice.
What ends up coming about for my next one.
Yeah, for sure, man. Danny Garcia, he's fighting this weekend, the farewell tour. You got
Yeah,
to fight with the PBC, so I'm sure Danny, you got to see a lot of fights with him. Um,
yeah.
what are your best memories of Danny Garcia?
Man, I've been watching him my entire life, and kind of getting ready for, or just thinking about this interview, being about his fight, and started thinking about that. I've been watching him since I was, younger, 14, 15, and seeing him win his, come up and win his first titles. And then I was actually, my pro debut was on the Garcia Rios card. It
Okay.
was in Las Vegas, and that was my debut. So that's a great memory for me. Being able to do that and see him and see him fight and get that knockout. He's thinking about him coming up on, this is supposed to be his farewell to Brooklyn, and I don't know if this is his last fight, but you know it's probably getting close from the way that he's talking, and just he's really put together an amazing career, and he's been someone that guys like me can look up to. um, and he's been one of those guys that's really been willing to fight anybody. Even going back to when he fought Lucas Matisse, and I remember watching that fight, and being a huge fan of Danny and seeing him win that fight when Lucas Matisse was, the boogeyman. He was
Yeah.
really the boogeyman that Danny was fighting at that time, and he took that fight, trying to be great, and he won that fight, and I felt like that fight really put him on the map as like a real, you know, somebody that was at the very, very top of the sport. And he's just kind of represented that the entire time, even with his fights with Porter, his fights with Thurman and Errol. Those are all, no one had to really chase him down to make fights, and he was always extreme, even in those fights that he lost. The Porter and Thurman fights were razor thin, and
Mhm.
the Errol fight, Errol being the monster that he still did great in that fight too. So he's put together an amazing career, something to be, I feel like he's going to be really proud looking back when he does retire.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, Danny. I would say it was the Matisse's fight for me too. That I
Yeah,
was like, oh
yeah.
man, he's one of the superstars, man. He did it.
Yeah, made him a superstar for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely the fight. So it's going
Yeah,
down in Brooklyn. The guy's not even from New York, and he just sells out the Barclays. What do
Yeah.
you why do you think it's so easy for Danny Garcia? Like he's so likable, he's a likable guy.
He is. He's just a likable guy. He I feel like he's one of those guys that there's not really any BS involved with his persona or in his career in general. Like I said, he's got a great personality. He puts on the fights the fans want to see, and when he shows up, he fights hard every time. And win, lose or draw, that's something that the fans are going to want to watch. And then you've got his Puerto Rican heritage. I feel like that plays a big role in his support in New York. And you put all those pieces together of who he is, what he represents and where he's from, as far as where his family's from, and you've got a superstar, like we said. So I think that's what it is, man. There's no BS involved.
So he's got his endeavors now with Swift Promotions. Obviously that
Yeah,
looks like the
yeah,
retirement plan. Do you think
yeah.
he's gonna be around for a while doing that, or you think
I
he'll
think
let
so, man.
somebody
That's
else
something
ride
that
that
you
ship?
really I don't know, man. I mean, the boxing business is a tough business. Anybody who talks about getting into it, only a few last. We've got a few big names in the sport that have kind of been around forever when it comes to the promotional side of things. But one thing about Danny that I've looked up to even from the time that I was a kid is the things that where he puts his money in the businessman that he is outside of the ring. What he always seems like he's doing the right things, with his money, and he's smart with it. And he seems like a smart guy in general. And he's got a hustler's mentality. He's not just somebody who's just out blowing his money, And with that being said, you put those pieces together. I feel like he's got a great shot at doing really well with that. And um, I don't know. It's cool to see a fighter kind of coming to the end of his career, but then also putting, you know, shows on and events on and giving a platform to younger fighters coming up under his banner. I feel like that's kind of the best way to go out. I feel like for a lot of us, boxing has been our entire lives since we were little kids. So I feel like the fairy tale ending is to make your money, have your titles, your legacy, and then also be able to stay involved in the sport and also give back to the sport. And I feel like there's not really a better way to do that than starting your own promotional company, management company, and that's what he's doing. And I feel like that's something that the real legends of the sport get to do.
Yeah, it's true, man. Yeah, you don't see it too much happen, but the guys stay around the sport, and it might be
Yeah,
like you said, just the business of boxing's kind of stressing, and it's a headache.
yeah,
It really is a
absolutely,
headache. I got a few
absolutely.
questions from people in my community. We got Shawa here. She said, "Here's my question: James Tony is your favorite fighter. What style would you say you have?"
I grew up watching a lot of guys. I loved James Toney, being a Michigan guy. Everyone from Michigan really looks up to his fighting style. But I also looked up to guys like Miguel Cotto. He was my favorite all-time fighter as well. So I loved Andre Ward. I loved watching Floyd. I always really liked watching the technical guys. But at the same time, I loved watching like guys like Cotto who gave everything every time he stepped into the ring. You saw his heart on his sleeve every time. And as far as my style goes, I think I try to I'm a visual type guy. I like to. Ever since I was a kid, I was a boxing junkie. I just watched so much film and so many of those guys that just some days, I would get in the ring, and still to this day, and I'd have one fighter on my mind, and I'd try to work on things that he was doing, and then maybe somebody with a polar opposite style, I might have him on my mind and be trying to work on things that he's doing. So as far as my style goes, I do know, like, I like to I really enjoy the technical aspect of boxing, but also I like to kind of throw that out the window when the first shot gets thrown too. Sometimes that's my downfall, but yeah, I guess that's the answer to the question.
Nah, that's good, man. That's good. I got Malcolm from New York. He said, "From your experiences hunting, what was your proudest harvest?" Oh, okay, I know you're a hunter.
Yeah, man, I just left the woods actually and just harvested a buck, and that is a good question. It goes between. I always had shoulder issues stemming from boxing from a young age. I've had surgery on my shoulder, and so being able through physical therapy and things like that, I was able to strengthen my shoulders up. And for those who don't know, um, there's a difference in bow hunting and gun hunting. So I grew up my
Okay.
whole life, hunting with a gun, hunting with a rifle, because I'm from the Midwest. It's a big part of our culture, and we hunt a lot in our area. So I always gun hunted, and I always wanted to bow hunt because there's something really special about bow hunting an animal, being able to get the harvest and then eat the meat. It's just something about shooting it with a bow. It's a lot more. It's like classic. That's how humankind, progressed, is hunting with a bow and arrow. So this year, I started bow hunting 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and bow hunting is a lot more difficult than rifle hunting. So I've been putting in my time in the woods, and this year I actually got my first harvest of a buck with a bow, a compound bow, and that's got to be my proudest moment so far. But also the first buck I ever killed with a rifle. It's hard to beat your first one too. I mean, that was a pretty incredible moment. But everything we harvest, we take the meat really seriously, and we eat it. Our families eat it, and we live off of it. So it's a big part of our lives. It's just something that it's a connection to the meat. It's a connection to nature, and the animals that we hunt. So I think that my proudest harvest actually came last month when I got my first deer, or the beginning of this month when I got my first deer with a bow.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Bow hunting. Gee, I know if you guys do that
Yes,
around
sir.
my area. It doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
sound easy.
No, man, it's well, man, all the details. There's a lot of details when you got
Yeah,
an animal that comes in and you got 3-4 seconds to make your decisions, and then you got to draw back. It's a hard feat to just draw back on the bow because the deer are so their senses are so honed, and their eyesight, their hearing, their smell. It's very hard to get pulled back, let alone to put on or to put a well placed shot on the animal so that it's a quick death. All those things that come together, it does make it hard, but it's very rewarding.
yeah, man. And yeah, for your career, man, you're still young, 25. Got lots of fights, man.
Yes, sir.
You think you got lots of more fight left in you, or is this like your last run at 47 here?
No, I feel like this is almost like the rebirth of my career. I feel like I've been on some big stages. I fought, former world champion, the fight before last, fight before my comeback fight in Australia. I fought Tim Tszyu, lost that fight, had a bad night, and I felt like that was when I reflected on that fight and when I decided to move down to 47. I felt like it was the right thing. I didn't know necessarily how it would be to because I knew I needed to make some change in my weight, my overall weight, as far as the weight that I walk around at. Maybe some training differences, less on the weights. Um, weightlifting has always been a big part of my training. Less of that. Now that I'm where I'm at, I feel like this is the start of the better part of my career. I'm 25 years old. I feel like I've got a good 5, 6, 7 years left, and I feel like this is going to be the best part of my career. Um, Kind of coming back, like I fought not the same thing, but I do. There is a lot of parallels to the hunting and to basically anything that's hard. And hunting's been something that's always been important to me. And that last 3 years that I've been putting all the pieces together to be able to have the experiences needed to be able to be successful. I feel like I started young. I turned pro, Danny Garcia undercard when I was 17 years old. Now I'm 25 years old. I feel like I'm going to reach the point, and I'm reaching the point where my experiences are going to meet my physical ability, also being in the right weight class. I feel like putting those things together, I feel like this is going to be the part of my career that I'm going to really be able to push through and break through into what I'm able to do. So I'm looking forward to it, and that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome, man. And do you have any particular direction, like any sanctioning body where you guys are gonna chase down, or is it just, hey, man, whoever's in front of me right now, gotta take him out?
Man, I feel like because of the where I've been, like my last fight, was a title eliminator. I had gotten the call to fight Sebastian Fundora at 54. I didn't get sanctioned for that fight with the WBO because I wasn't ranked in the WBO. They ended up
Okay.
putting the Tim Tszyu thing on the table for me to fight him, and then the idea was the winner fights Fundora. He went and fought Fundora afterward. I feel like where I'm at, moving down to 47, I'm one or two good wins away from being able to be in the title picture. I still work with PBC. We're talking, and we're talking about my next fight right now. There's been some names, about some fights to put me in that position that started right after the Zoo fight. And my last fight was just to get down and fight at 52, kind of in between the 54 and 47. And so that was the purpose of that. And I feel like I'm a couple wins away. I feel like I need to get the right names in front of me. Um, Ramos. My first loss was the Jesus Ramos. Was my first top 10 fight. He was ranked number 5 in the WBC at that time. I lost to him. Fighting his younger brother or his older brother is something that
Right.
I feel like would be a good fight. Just being the fact that I lost to his younger brother, and then also he's a great name and he's got great experience at 147. So I would like to get a fight like that, and I feel like that would put me in a good position if I win that fight to be able to go forward and accomplish my goals of winning a title.
Yeah, especially because
That's something that I have on my mind. Yep,
yeah, world title, world title. Okay, that's where we're
of
going with
course,
that.
of
That's
course.
that's good because it seems like there's two titles in PBC. Barrios and Rolly Romero. So
Yep,
definitely can
yep,
achieve that for sure.
yeah. I'm going. I'm not stopping till we reach the ultimate goal. So that's what we work hard for. That's what we're in
That's
the game
awesome.
for.
And where do you train at in Michigan again?
Yeah, I train. I'm in the Flint area. I grew up I'm still about 15 minutes from Flint, hour from Detroit. I train in my hometown, which is Linden. We have a gym there. We have a gym in Flushing, which is in the same area. So we and then we travel all over for sparring. There's some really talented fighters here in Michigan. A lot of them lesser known, but there's a lot of good talent here in the amateurs and the pros. So that's where I live and train. I've got a family. I've got kids. That's where we've got our roots planted, and that's also where I train here in Michigan, where I grew up. So
It's awesome, man. Did you ever travel much for sparring, or do you feel like I got enough guys in the area who can cover that?
I've got a lot of good guys in the area, but we also travel for sparring. Yeah, I've traveled. It's been a bit, but I Vegas, California. We're planning on making a trip here in the wintertime. Leave
Mhm.
here for the wintertime and go to. We're hoping to go to Vegas or California for some sparring, and that's a really important thing. I feel like to go out and get with some good names and good pros, and so we're planning a trip right now to go out to the West Coast to get some good sparring.
Nice, man. Sparring's so important. But yeah, I know
Absolutely.
out there in Detroit, Michigan area, there is, like you said, a lot of great
Yeah.
boxers, great
Oh,
gyms.
really? There really is. There really is.
Yeah, man. So if you want to let the people know where they can find you, Joey, I'll let you get going
Yes,
with
sir.
your day, man.
Yeah. 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 At Joey D Spencer on Instagram, Joey Spencer on Facebook. Those are the two places I'm most active on social media. So yeah, give me a follow.
Yeah, hit Joey Spencer up. He got a fight coming up soon. And he's moving
Yeah,
down to
absolutely.
147. So I can't wait to
Yep.
see how this all plays out, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, brother. Peace.
Have a good one.
That's Joey Spencer, yo. Obviously the top contender, guy who's fought Tim Tszyu, been in the ring with Ramos, been in the ring with some of the top guys in around boxing. He said he's going from 154, which he's been at pretty much his whole career, to 147 because it's easy to make. So shout out to him for that, man. Coming through and showing love to Boxing Talk Up North and the whole community. And shout out to all the community members who dropped their questions. I just threw up that post a couple minutes ago. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to get him over here, but shout out to Millions.co, the people over there sent him over here, which was nice, man, to keep the stream rolling, keep the live stream rolling, and yeah, man, get everything situated.